Hello everybody, it's Dioxin here with another little video. So, in the previous video we spoke about frame data and we spoke about startup frames. Okay, so in this one we are going to talk about active frames and recovery frames, and I'll have a few examples throughout the video about what they are. Okay, so stay tuned. Right, so one thing I left out from the previous video of the move types is the unblockable here. So it's pretty much in the name, unblockable. I'd sort of like to take this opportunity just to mention that I'm no professional fighting game player. So the moves and the frame data and stuff that I'm explaining to you is basically how I interpret the frames and the frame data in the game. And I use my experience, the research I've done on the game for the past couple of years, and the plenty of tournaments I've watched and listened to the commentary, and getting tips and things like this out of it. So there. Anyways, moving on, we're looking at active frames. So Flame Aura is a good example of a move that has a lot of active frames. It's basically almost a parry. Okay, so in this case we see Scorpion here has a 29 frame active Flame Aura move here. Okay, so let's go back and let's look at what that means. So the game runs at 60 frames per second, so every second that passes 60 frames has passed. Okay, so if you look at active frame on the Flame Aura move here, it's 29 frames, so basically it's half a second. So it's active for half a second. So whilst it's being active, you hit him in that window, you're gonna get restood and you're gonna get full combo punished. So that's that one. Okay, so you will see him do it a couple times just to show you how active it is. Then he puts it on, boom. He just walked into that one. So you just get it out here. There you go. So, yeah. Okay, so the next one, just to explain active frames, is this hell ball. You don't really see it out of the pro players because they use the cancel part of it. We'll look at that in another video, but basically this is just a projectile. So this one shows active for 200 frames until I throw it out. Okay, just keep Takeda still here and we'll throw it. Right, so 200 frames. So that thing goes across the screen, 200 frames. So 200 frames, if you think about it, it's like almost 3 seconds going across the screen there. So, okay. So that's that one. So there's the two ways, and there's other ways of course, but just to explain the active frame. So the move is active for that amount of time. Okay, so what you've seen me try to do here, or getting Takeda to do, is to basically whiff a really bad string, if it's whiffed, of course. If on hit, it's a decent string. So he's whiffed all of that, and whilst he's finished his movements, and then I hit him, it shows counter there, so he can't block. So once he misses, especially Takeda, when I hit him, see when I hit him there, you see that it said counter there, so he couldn't even block that. So I've hit him basically in his recovery. So once he does the move like that, he has a recovery there. Can you see it? Basically chucks out his whips, and even if I block them, his recovery is so bad I can just do that. If I'm really good, like a really good player, you probably can maybe get a combo or something better out of that. But I'm not a Scorpion main anymore. so it's better for him to make you block it, and it's even worse if he misses completely. It's even worse for him. Right, so obviously characters vary with their recovery frames. Takeda's just a really bad one, probably one of the worst in the game, I'd say. So it's full on there. He was open for everything, couldn't block anything, couldn't even stop it, and it's a punish every single time. So let's look at the frame data of that string of Takeda's. Let's get back to Takeda there, just to show you the frames of that move. Okay, so another little tip. Okay, so there's the string there. Another little tip: the last portion of the string there, the 2 plus 4 bit there, that's the frames. What you see the frame data of is the last piece of the move. So if I miss completely with that string, there's a recovery of 49 frames. So that's almost a second. I mean, it's like 10 frames off basically a second, so that I'm open. So in the fighting games in general, a second being open is almost an eternity. You should be all over that if you're going to punish that. So that's how bad it is. Okay, so that's why Scorpion can just teleport and hit him there, and he's on the count, and it's a counter every single time. He can do that little slide move that he has every single time, and he can't block it at all. He's open. Okay.
Avoid the pain.
Okay, so I'm doing that on purpose. So remember, I mentioned in the previous video about throws. So I'm whiffing a throw here, so a neutral duck makes that throw whiff. And obviously if I catch you, I throw you. Okay, so why is this important? So if you neutral duck the throw, you can punish the recovery. Okay, so when I do hit it, I will hit it now. Whenever I do hit it, there you see it says counter. I hit him in his recovery frame, so you couldn't even block that as well. Alright, so let's look at the frames to better show you how many recovery frames the throw has, a whiffed throw has. So there's the throw there. Either the forward throw or the normal throw, it doesn't matter, they're both the same. So you can see the recovery there of 24 frames. So it's only active for 2 frames, it's not even active that long, and it's 24 frames of recovery. So just under half a second, but it's still long enough. So a lot of your moves and specials, they are around the 18 to 20 frames startup mark, so you can always hit him with anything, almost everything. You won't always get like a maximum combo or anything like that, but you'll get something decent out of it if you manage to punish the throw whilst he's in the recovery frames there. This part here is something I just want to quickly explain. So this is Takeda's back to 1 2 plus 4 string. Very bad when he's blocked it there. So if he blocks it like that, he can get a spear, and that's basically called a reversal. So if you block a move and you punish it straight away, it's called a reversal. Okay, that's just something that I saw and I sort of wanted to put it in this video just to explain it to you guys. It's not really much to do with active frames or recovery frames. It's basically just blocking a move and punishing it, and that's what you call a reversal. You also get the reversal if you backdash during a string, but we will show you that in another video later on down the line, once we've gone through all the frames and the frame data stuff. Okay. Okay, so following on from the backdash stuff, we'll talk about it now because I just sort of did it. So you see sort of in between the move I teleported just now. So because he worked, I could sort of teleport that. And here's the backdash, you can see there, and I punished him as well. Sometimes it will say reversal, as you can see there, and then when I punish, it's counter, right? So these are good to know. I don't think every character can sort of just do this, but I think a lot of them can. So this is all part of your labbing process when you choose a character and you know your character, and then you have trouble with another character, and these are the kind of things, these are the little bits of tech that you can figure out whilst in the lab or the practice room, trying to sort of better yourself and better how you play against a character that you're struggling with. Okay, so going on from that backdashing in that string, so there is the Takeda string there. So if you backdash and you look at this combo, so remember what I mentioned before, it's the last piece, the 2+4 there, that is showing the frames for on the side there. So backdashing that string there gives me 55 frames to hit him with, because he's immediately in recovery because I've not blocked it. So it's very beneficial to know if you can backdash certain strings. Now in the online world that is rather difficult because of the the input lag and the latency and all the rest of it, so it's really hard. But what you see on people playing in tournaments and things like this, they're not playing online, they're playing just on a console as if you were sitting on a couch next to your pal just having a few games at home. So it's best if you do it offline. So bear that in mind. As you can see, I used the spear to punish at that time, which was 23 frames I think. So yeah. There you go. But that's more block than punish, but we'll look at that one, or that portion, in a later video. I've said a later video quite a few times, but once I get past the frames and stuff like this, then we can talk about all the tips and the tricks and all these other little things. There's not many of them, but there's a few ones that's worth noting and worth knowing, because it will help you in your game. So this example is neutral ducking the last portion of a string if it's a high. Okay, so going on from the backdashing in the strings where you can punish, this one here you can punish the recovery if you neutral duck the last hit of the forward 3-4 from the sector here. Okay, so he goes straight into recovery when he misses you like that, so it's basically whiffing it, you making him whiff the last move. You can see Liu Kang uppercuts or punches or whatever. I'm not a Liu Kang main, so it was literally for the example. Okay, good to know this tech, so especially against Sector, which is arguably one of the better characters in the game. In this case that I'm going to show you now with Liu Kang has this low starter move that ends in this little mini fly kick, as you can see there, right? So the last hit is a mid there, but you can neutral duck that last hit. Okay, so the frames on that last hit is basically active for only 2 frames. So yes, it's a mid, but the active frames would have passed by the time you've neutral ducked, so you can punish him. So it shows you there 37 frames of recovery if you make it whiff, so neutral duck. So yeah, little things like that is very good to watch out for, especially if you play a Liu Kang that does that all the time. There's plenty that do. I'm not going to say they're the best players out there, but yeah, so if you see a Liu Kang do that to you all the time, just neutral duck their last move and then you full combo punish him. Not many sort of instances of that happen in this game, but that's one that I know of, and I've learned to cope with dealing with people that do this thing all the time. Okay, so hopefully I'll show you now and I'll punish him there. Whenever you're ready, Takeda, punish him. Come on, Takeda, punish him. There you go. You see it said counter. I missed there, but see, now I'm going to give him the full combo punishment here. Alright, so 37%. So he won't do that again. If the opponent sees you do that, he's not going to do that again. Anyway, don't mind the teabag. It was just sort of to let me know to stop the video there. Here's a round where I'm going to show the examples of active frames and recovery frames and this kind of thing. Okay. And that concludes the video, guys, so I hope this has helped you in some way. If you want more stuff got to do with frames and frame data and things like this, a good place to look is testyourmight.com. I'm sure you've heard of it if you like Mortal Kombat, but testyourmight.com is a good place to go. And yeah, look at other YouTubers, man. People like Ketchup and Mustard are a real good source of information for Mortal Kombat. Cheers, guys.